All right, so one thing that I've heard a lot of different definitions for is the term cloud computing itself. It's a hot word, and people say different things. So just as an experiment, I was going to start with Phil and move this way, and like each of you give a quick, brief definition of what you think the term cloud computing means.
Well, for me, I'm new to the industry. I come from the cable and telecom industry, and frankly, I kind of view cloud as the same as the telecom and the cable industry, where we would build infrastructure, deploy the software, and then we would allow the customer to buy as much or as little as they wanted. So if we were the cable provider, you could get a DVR box HD. If you were in the phone business, you could order one phone line, or you could order an OC3. So you could order as much as you or little as you like, and we would be the infrastructure and the software provider that would allow you to turn up or turn down as many services as you want. So I view that to be very similar to where the cloud computing business is going.
All right, great. How about you, John?
It's interesting. I would say at the simplest definition, it's hosted infrastructure and application services provided by someone other than me. It's gone through a lot of terminology changes. I think if you can go back even to the late 90s, you had things around network computing championed by Scott McKinley at Sun and Larry Ellison at Oracle. The concept's been around for a long time. Cloud computing is, I think, probably the latest and hottest vernacular to network computing.
All right. How are you, Rick?
Well, I was thinking about the metaphor. I mean, a cloud is millions of water droplets suspended in a gas. And what's interesting about a gas is that any of those particles can touch any other particle at any time. So in this case, the water droplets are all the millions of computers that you can't discern individually, but which together are enormously significant. And the fact that they can touch each other is the internet, so that any computer can interact with any other computer.
All right. The other John?
So clouds are beautiful things unless you want to walk on them or hang from them or store things in them. So it's a dangerous metaphor, to be sure. There are really two answers to cloud computing, in my opinion. There's this convoluted technical answer that people are struggling to create and define and distinguish clouds from SaaS and everything else. And then there's a real answer, which is what it's going to evolve into. Cloud computing will be anything, any service, any software that you access via the web. Short of, I suppose, a one-to-one relationship between you and somebody who's just providing you equipment directly for your own software. It's, in its highest sense, it is the stuff that Google and Amazon, and I think Sun's even talking about it now, are doing, where they are building massive centers or multiple data centers with sort of generic equipment. A lot of it's open source, but Microsoft's got a big center. So they're doing it as well. You can get Windows. And you literally have access to unlimited amounts of storage and machines at fairly cheap prices. And you're just loading your software into that cloud. You don't really know where it ends up, but you pay for it by what you use. So they're struggling for a technical definition that would distinguish Amazon's S3 and what Google's doing, and maybe Microsoft from Salesforce or Catalyst or 50 others. But I think in the end, nobody will understand those distinctions. And cloud computing will just be the new name for SaaS, or before it, application service provider, or network computing, or whatever.
All right, now I know those answers sounded very different, but in their own way, they actually say remarkably the same thing. So that's pretty good.